Well, hello. Welcome to Websites for Beginners. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good wherever you are. JP here. And today it is Themify Reconstructed episode 2. Let's jump right into Themify and I'll go find the page and have a quick look at what we will be reconstructing today. Very, I would say, fundamental and basic hero section that you will find at the top of your pages. And in fact, we borrowed this one from one of the skins within the Ultra theme from Themify. So in case you were wondering which theme I use with Themify, whenever I work with Themify, I always use one of their themes because I just think, well, the two go together like two peas in a pod, right? So what we have here and what we'll focus on is this gradient overlay. Also here at the bottom, some builders call it shape dividers, others just call it dividers. In Themify, it's called a frame because not only can you put it at the bottom and at the top, you can also put it on the left and on the right. And then we will take a look at how we can adjust this section so that it can also display okay on both iPads and as well as on your mobile devices. I'll just jump straight into the builder for this page and then we can build out the section again on the same page. And I'll just grab this one here at the bottom and drag in some extra margin at the bottom so that we have some separation between the two. To bring in a new row, click here on the plus at the bottom and we're going to select this one with the two columns. You will hear me refer to something like this as a section. And of course, this is always the problem with terminology when it comes to anything, is that when you have different products, many of them use their own words, and then in the end it can get a little bit confusing, especially if you are using more than one builder like I do. But in Themify, what I refer to as a section or even a block is a row. And there's nothing wrong with it. The row is something that stretches from left to right, and that is your focus area, so that is the section. Rows are this area in purple. And to access the row settings, you go to this little purple bubble, and then you will see the contextual toolbar pops up here with a few features in there. What I'll do is I'll go here to the move handle. And the reason is, at this moment, if I build out anything, it's always going to be here at the bottom of the screen. It's going to be very annoying. So we grab the handle and we drag it up to the top, this row that we just created. And this is what I really enjoy about Themify. Every builder has certain features which when you do it, you just think, why no one else is doing that? And this is one where Themify has done a really great job. The moment you start dragging any of the rows, it minimizes the screen, zooms out, and then you have this very clear blue bar as to where you can drop the thing that you are dragging. In this case, we are dragging a row, so it shows you there at the top, you can see the pink. Or as I get down to the bottom, it shows you the alternative area, which is where we are dragging it from. Let's put it at the top, and now it's up here. And then what I'll do is I'll go to this section, click on it, hover outside, and now we'll add again margin to the top. Now we have the row at the top with margin for this one. Let's go to the row at the top, click on it, and first we bring in padding. I'll add the same amount of padding to the top and the bottom, which is around 300 pixels. Hover inside the row until you see the purple bar, click and drag. And then as you drag, notice here in the middle, we can see the value in pixels, what you are dragging in. Like 300 pixels are pretty big. And then just let go to the drop down, and then select under pixels, this option here. This is going to link the top and the bottom for you. And once you do that, you have 300 pixels at the top and the bottom. Let's also use something different. So I'm going to drag it much smaller to around 20, then go to the drop down and put it on percentage. Now you can see it's 1%, and this refers to our viewport height. Often there are certain words that I will tell you, don't care about the terminology, it's just a lot of mumbo jumbo. But some terminology is good to understand exactly what we're talking about, and you'll hear it in many cases. Viewport, one of those words. A viewport mentions to the display a person will see your page on. It's not your screen, right? So if I show you the viewport of my screen, it's all the way here from the top, where the tab is of Microsoft Edge, all the way to the bottom here where my taskbar is. The viewport is the area inside the browser that can be seen at any time on a display. So currently, my viewport, let's grab it, is this. Everything that I can see on the screen. And I think we can even color it. Let's put a little bit of a transparency in there to make sure you fully get the idea of the viewport. Am I using the right tool now? I don't think so. Computer says no. Let's fill it. There we go. That is the viewport, right? Strictly speaking, that is the viewport as shown at this moment by Themify. So what I'm doing by adding that 1% is that I'm saying the padding must be 1% of this area from the top to the bottom. That is how we're going to be looking at the viewport. So let's go back up here, and I'm going to drag very carefully because this is going to jump very fast, very quick, and put it around 20%. And now why? I have this huge amount of padding at the top and the bottom. There are other ways we could have done this too. We could have set the row height. This is also something you can do. This is an alternative by using padding. And padding has always kind of been the go-to way of bringing in space. Nothing wrong with it. There are maybe a few cleaner and quicker ways that you can do it. Nothing wrong by going the padding way. From here, we go to the editor in the sidebar on the right and click on styling. And you know the row is selected. It says row options, select background. And then we go to background type. It is set to image, and then background image. Click on that and select the image that we want to use, which is this lady deep in meditation. Then under this background mode, we go for full color. Here is a very nice little feature in Themify that you can grab this focus point and set it to where you want to focus in this image. And at this moment, we're just going to leave it in the center. If you drag it anywhere outside, you want to bring it to the center, just click here on the dot and whoop, it jumps there. And now our image is set for the background. We apply next our overlay. Close the background tab and then directly under it, row overlay. From here, we're going to apply a gradient. Let's just grab the purple that we will be using for it. So I'll go to the one at the bottom and I'll sample the color just to make it a realistic life experience. And we grab the color of that purple. Now with the top one selected, select gradient. And then here on the left, click on this black dot. Now, if you see what happens here on my screen, I've run into this and not sure how much it's going to mess up this tutorial. But if this happens, just click again. I found that if I can click a few times on it, double click, finally the color picker pops up. I'm not sure if it was there previously, but I found a few things since the latest update. So this may be because of that. But just remember, if it gives you that empty color picker box, just double click a few times on it or click a few times on it, and you're going to get it to open eventually. Select the area and paste it. And now we have the transition effect. We're going to leave this on solid, but then we go over here to the white. Click on the white and then grab the opacity slider here on the right and drag it all the way to the bottom. This is still too much. We can barely see her face over here. To achieve that effect like we have at the bottom, we apply a stop. And basically what a stop is telling the gradient, you have to do your job quicker. So we grab the white dot on the right and we drag it in to around here. And there we go, 40%. You see, you can even put the stop in percentage in over here. 40% is okay for us. Let's see how that compares. Nothing compares. And if you think the purple is still a little too harsh, let's click on the purple. And let me just make sure I'm on the purple. No, I'm not. Click outside. Come purple. Double click again there. And I'll just reduce the purple a little bit to around here. I think that's around 80%. And that's how we applied the overlay. I want to save this at this moment and then go view it on the front end. In Themify, to view on the front end, you click here on this little X to close it, and this takes you directly to the front end. Let's just grab the URL, Control C, Command C, and I'll open my developers app, Sizzy, so we can test and see if the gradient has been locked in correctly. I'm saying that because I ran into problems previously where it applied a solid purple. Nope, this one looks fine. Good, so we got everything in here and we're good to go and on our way. Back into Themify we go. So our background, honky-dory. Now let's work on our content in the middle, which is very simple. Click here on Turn on Builder to go back into Themify. And now you will notice we have these two columns here. How many columns you want can be changed at any time by going to the row grid. That little purple box that we saw up here, go to settings and you have the options over here. If I decide that I need 3, I click on 3 and now when I hover over it, you will see 1, 2, 3. Go back, settings, let's put it back on 2. And we bring in our first little widget here, our first module. Click on the green and then type in here heading, fancy heading, no, type in text, and we have the option between plain text and text. Whenever you see plain text, it means you cannot really format it. It's just going to be text, nothing you can do about it. Think typewriter style. Text, on the other hand, is going to allow you to do all the fancy little styling and bling that we usually do. So in most cases, you want to use this one. You can drag it where you need it, but because we have clicked on the ad from directly within that column, I can simply click here on the plus and it's going to drop the content in here. To bring in the content, let's go here to the editor on the right and I'll select this and type in here, welcome. And then I'll hit enter and return on my keyboard. For the next part, I'll grab some lorem ipsum text. So let's quickly open the lorem ipsum generator to grab some text. Let's grab a nice bit of text over here. Copy this and paste over here. Next to welcome, I'll go up here and select and put it on heading 2. And you can see it already updates to take a styling of heading 2. And this one we will leave on paragraph. Click here on styling. Select here from the hamburger menu. And we first go to heading. We look for heading 2 because this is what we put our welcome on heading 2. And the font family I'm looking for is Playfair Display. Now I'm pretty confident. Playfair, let me just type this, Playfair Display. I'm pretty confident this is going to give me a few little hiccups. This is in the latest update I found. Playfair Display, I'm not sure if it's only Playfair Display. It messes up a few things. If I click on Playfair Display, it looks like it changed to Playfair Display. Let's go to font weight, put it on 900i, and you see nothing happens. Let's just go to font color. That's fine. We're going to leave it on the default. And then font size, I'll type in 40. Right, so why nothing has changed? I don't know. Click save, refresh, and now it's better. I'm saying I don't know, turn on the builder again. I've logged this with technical, they say it's on my side, cannot get into my local server. Seems the problem cannot be replicated with others, even though I've tested on 2 different installations, unless it's something to do with local and trying to get the information from Google Fonts. I don't know, but look, you can refresh the page and the world is better again. Let's click here on styling. We go back here. And if I click here on text, we've done welcome now, which is heading 2. And then next would be paragraph, styling, general. And now we just keep it on general because paragraph is not a heading. So go back to general and here you select font. Font family, we're going to choose Poppins, P-O-P-P-I-N-S, Poppins. And the font size 16. Line height, let's put it on M and I'll type in 1.6. And that's all we're going to do for it. Let's save it. Go view it on the front end, close. Let me just refresh this. And it looks good here. Turn on builder. And the last part we want to do here is bring in a button. Hover over the column here on the left. Look for the green with the plus. Click on that and search for button. Button. And click on the green. Here's our button text. Styling. Go to edit. And over here, the first thing we will do is give the button some text. Book now. And then the link. I'm just going to put in websites for beginners, w4b.io. And again, something from the past of Themify. You see the preset colors over here. And you see you cannot add your own color here. So we won't be adding our color, that purple we used in here. We're going to be adding it here in styling. Again, there are these dinosaur footprints from the past that I wish they can sit down a little bit and clean it up and say, wait a minute, we've added the colors in the background. Let's remove these guys. You know, I know it's like saying goodbye to a good old friend that you've known for many years, and now they're moving to Mars and to colonize the place. You need to remove them, get them out of your life. Same thing here. A few of these things, I really wish it can just clean up and take out the things and force everyone to go to the new way, even if they complain until tomorrow. At the top, you will see you have for the button size for small, large, and extra large. And I'm going to put it on large lately because of interfaces like mobile displays. It's a good idea to put your buttons a little bit bigger because people with big thumbs and clumsy thumbs like me, we click it better. Then shape, you have square, you have circle, and then you just have rounded corners. And we think that looks good. So why on earth do we want to go and mess with the corners? We just click here on rounded. Next, click here on styling. And here things get a little bit complicated again. Background does not relate to the button, but button link background relates to the button. Remember that. Click here on background color. And again, I'll type in and paste that code that we used earlier, 7C10F7. If you know that you're going to be using this one a lot, within the color picker, you simply click here on save and it will pop it there at the top. In fact, you can go ahead and delete these guys by clicking on the X next to them if you know you're not going to be using them. Just remember those last two, white and black, always a good idea to keep them handy. Now, if we need to use this purple again, no need to worry, it's there. We don't have to bring in the code again and again and again. Having pasted this, our font has now already changed as well. If I click and collapse background, now I don't see the font color over here. Let's go to link, color, and select white, and that is the font color in there. So that's our link. Let's go back to background. Up here, currently you see it selected to normal. Normal is how a person will view it when they come to your page. Let's bring in a little bit of an effect so that when people hover over it with their cursor, it's going to change the color, reduce it a little bit. So we click here on hover, go to background color, click in, select the purple, and then just grab the opacity slider and drag it down to 0.8. 0.8 means 80% opaque, which 20% transparency. Now, if I hover over it, it's going to reduce a little bit. I cannot see it. It's probably on the front end. Let's save it. Go view it on the front, hover, and slightest purple changes there. Yeah, you can see it. It is there. Turn on the builder. Let's go back into Themify and add a little bit of space between our text and the button. This can be done either by going to the button or the text. It doesn't matter. So let's click on the button and then I'll hover outside of the button when I see that blue box extend above it. Click and drag and I'll bring it around a little bit, just around 25 pixels. See if I can get it exactly to 25. There we go. That one is cool. Let's save it. Go over to Sizzy and I'll open my MacBook Air and focus on this one. Refresh. And see if we've got our hero section nailed down. Let's have a quick look at our responsive displays. And here we're going to see that it looks fine on our iPad. And then here on our mobile device, what do we think about that one? Jump back into Themify, select our row up here, and then under styling, we go to frame. You have a top, bottom, left, and right. We're just going to be working with the bottom, and you'll understand what it does the moment I go to bottom and I select any of these shapes. Very nicely applied. You've got quite a number here. And then there even is an option for a custom. I haven't tested the custom. Something we can do in an upcoming Reconstructed to bring in a custom one. I'll have to go read up a little bit about that. So with this selected, let's go here to the wave 4, and then we apply a white color to it. Click here in the color editor, select the white swatch. Very nice. You have control over the width, right? So you can see you can stretch it. So I guess that's going to be a SVG that we'll be bringing in. Otherwise, we won't have this flexibility over it. Let me select all of that and just delete it to leave it at its default. Then the height will allow you to stretch it if you need to do that. And you can also repeat it if you need to do that, which we don't want to do. And in case you need it to block something, display below content, that's the default, above content, and it's going to block out your content. There are cases, especially if you're using PNG images that have transparent backgrounds, that you may want to apply this effect. Our height is way too big. Let's bring that down. We want to see our hands. Right, so all of this, we've done our desktop view. Here a banner looks good. Let's go and see how it will display on our responsive devices. Here in the toolbar at the top, let's go for tablet portrait. And I think tablet portrait, we saw that. This one is fine. And then we go for mobile. The mobile is way too wide. So I'll go here to the bar on the left until I see the blue. Click, hold, and I'll drag it to around something like 350 to 320. You can see my original, I made the welcome much bigger. That's your choice. We can do it. What I will do here is I will go to the column. And I'll try and see if I can hover here until I see the orange in the middle, and I'll bring in padding for the column like so. And this is to make sure that this text doesn't overlap on her skin. Otherwise, it's going to be extremely difficult for us actually to read the text. Let's save that. See, reload, and see how it looks much, much better. This is already a tiny device. We can add a little bit more padding here at the top, so to give it a little bit more of a full height feeling within your mobile display. I'll go here, I'll click and drag and just give it a little bit more. Nice. Save our work. Maybe that was a tad too much, and reload. Yeah, that was good. Right, so how quick was that, right? That was really, really simple. Before we call it a day, let's go back to desktop and quickly talk about the columns. You will know that lately it is very easy to resize columns in most page builders. Within Themify, it's as simple as going to the middle where you see the gutter. There's a gutter there, and you see that little box on the orange line. Orange, your columns. Click and hold and drag this little handle. You will get that heads-up display to show you the ratio of the left side column to the right side column. This is super convenient. It is so super convenient that it completely confuses me why there is no way I can adjust this manually by myself. You have no control. If I go to the column, you'll see I only have styling. I don't have any settings. I cannot change the width of the column somewhere here by assigning it 40% or 60%. That's not the end of the world. You can get what you want by just dragging it like so over here. The strange part is, let's say I have decided that I want to apply this, for example, like something crazy like this, 30% on the left and 70% on the right. When I go to tablet, it's going to do the same. Instinctively, you will want to go look for the handle and then drag it to the right. And this is where it gets very strange. We are not allowed to do that in responsive views. Even in mobile, you're not going to find that. And that's going to create this kind of situation for you. Themify does, however, have a solution for that. A strange one, though. Now, with our tablet selected, go to the row settings up here, and then under grid, you will see I have these presets that I can choose. So, for example, if I think this one will work, then I click on that one. This is the one we basically set it to. If I want it at 100%, it's going to do that and drop the second column below it. Go again to the settings, to the grid options, and in this case, maybe something like this will work. And it's the same if I go to mobile. I can simply select mobile over here. And we do the same. So remember, because that is a strange, I will say strange little feature within Themify that you're not going to find in others. There I will have to reduce the padding that I've added. In most page builders, you're going to get full control over setting that. The only two that I've found are the workhorses, which is Divi and Themify, who struggles to do this responsively. Another area that can be improved, because nowadays mobiles cannot be an afterthought. You have to basically start designing with mobile. That's why we say hashtag mobile first. But at least there is this option in here to go to our settings, to the grid, and you have these options with the columns. I'm curious, let's just go back to desktop. Let's say we change this into 3, and I'm messing up this. Let's go for 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then we drag this one all the way here. Let's change the background of the column so we can just see it a little bit better. Image, only gradient? Why not a solid color? Interesting. Okay, and for this one, we'll do the same. Background, gradient. Let's change this color. Okay, so we've got column 1, column 2, column 3, and you can see we can really drag these guys around. Very nice. It's awesome responsiveness. Super duper. Now we go to mobile. Tablet. Let's go tablet first. This one drops here below, and we have it spaced like this. And if I go now to grid, it gives me options again. So I can choose this one. Okay. Also, somebody was thinking there in head office. Head office did do something for this. Very interesting. And when I see this, I kind of get the feeling that probably having that full control I was talking about cannot be done. I'm curious. But this is nice. At least there's a way for you to work with the column structures within responsive styling. Don't look at that. Look over here. This is the one that we had created. Nice job, everyone. Big pats on the back all around. Let's call it a day. From me, JP, stay safe and see you in the next video.